Turkey's president says the U.S. is seeking to stab it in the back as market turmoil in the country continues.
Ülkeler bütün hesabını bunun üzerine yapıyor ve buna göre adımlarını atıyor.
Turkey has been plagued by economic problems with its currency, the lira plunging over concerns about the government's economic policies and that diplomatic spat with the U.S. Washington is angry with Turkey over the continued detention of an American pastor. Last week, the U.S. imposed sanctions on 2 cabinet ministers, as well as doubling tariffs on steel and aluminum. President Erdogan says Turkey will overcome the attack on its economy. For more on this, I want to bring in Marvin Ryder. He's associate professor at McMaster University's DeGroote School of Business. He joins me from Hamilton, Ontario. Hi, Professor.
Good morning.
So tell us exactly what this tumbling currency in Turkey means and what the ripple effect might be.
Well, what it means is that Turkey is actually an economy on the edge. This is very similar to the situation that Greece had a few years ago. Turkey's economy has been funded a lot by foreign investment, and when you have a currency that is going down, then it's harder to pay those interest payments. Already in Turkey, we're seeing inflation approaching 15%. Now, I don't know how people feel about that, but in Canada, it's 1.5%, so massive inflation. The prime interest rates there are running in that same 15–16% range. People think they actually are going to have to take their interest rates up to 20% to stem the tide. And as a result, we're seeing people getting more and more scared about Turkey's ability to pay. And that's what puts the run on the currency and drives its value down. It's lost almost a third of its value in just the last week.
My goodness. What do you make of the statement where Turkey says the U.S. has stabbed it in the back? Does it have some credibility there?
Well, it's possible that the United States, by putting these extra sanctions on Turkey, drew the world's attention to an economy that was shaky in the first place. President Erdogan faced a coup attempt 2 years ago, and since then he's been cracking down, centralizing power, putting more power behind him. Same thing with the economic power. He's been trying to bring it in, but he's just not facing the reality. He wants interest rates to be low. That's not going to work in this case. He wants to change the way the central bank operates. That's not going to work in this case. In fact, I have to tell you honestly, he's got to have a change of heart here. He's going to have to reach out. He's going to have to talk to the International Monetary Fund, the World Bank, and kind of ignore this issue. To be candid with you, he should just release this pastor and shut that part of it down. He's got enough internal problems than picking fights with the United States right now.
What about the leverage that Turkey may feel it has geographically? And this is why some other European countries are nervous, because people have to remember Turkey helps, or the European Union sort of depends on Turkey to restrain the flow of migrants. There's some 4 million displaced people living there. And, you know, that could go horribly wrong for some of these other countries bordering Turkey.
Absolutely, Jennifer. So Turkey is unique geographically because it straddles, it borders both Europe and Asia. Traditionally, Turkey's been a strong ally of America. American planes have been stationed there. But just recently, President Erdogan said that he was going to get closer to Russia, that he was looking to deploy some Russian or have deployed some Russian airplanes in the country. And so you're concerned. You don't want to see this country fall. It does play such an important role in stemming migrants on one hand, but also for security issues on another. You know, again, I would be candid to tell you a regime change to someone a little calmer, a little nicer wouldn't be the end of the world. But the turmoil to get there, we'd rather see President Erdogan just kind of calm down, focus on his internal issues, and get that dealt with. If he doesn't, this country could see, like Greece, we could see an almost total collapse, change in government, and causing more concern in the area.
Yeah. Always appreciate your analysis, Marvin. Thank you.
My pleasure.
Marvin Ryder.